The midterm elections are coming up, and a lot of people check out of them, particularly during the primaries. But let me tell you, if you weren't paying attention to them, if you weren't checking out the candidates that are running, then you were missing out on some comedy gold. The primaries are when every candidate, every unhinged lunatic, is allowed to run free and put out whatever dumb, crazy ideas they want. And your local government has to let them. It's like a royal rumble of hilarious, unfiltered lunacy. But before we get into that, I have to point out that on the bottom of every page in this book is the line, "Candidate statements are printed and submitted and are not edited for factual or grammatical accuracy by the auditor's office." I just find it hilarious to think about the employee who has to type all this up and print it out. It's like a dash of spice that makes everything all the better. Mohammad Hassan is a Democrat running for the U.S. Senate. His elected experience, professional experience, education, and community service all sound like he may in fact be qualified for public office. But his statement is like a wild acid trip of insane ramblings and paranoia that I will now read verbatim. Quote, "I had been a doctor practicing in the state of Washington for 38 plus years with no complaints against me. Unexpectedly, the health department suspended my medical license based on misinformation and what I suspect to be racism and Islamophobic. My case was handled through Zoom due to the pandemic, and those members, if the medical commission, were all below my education and experience. I was racially targeted, and they said I was demented and unable to practice. That misinformation came from geriatrician, a member of LGBT, whom I visited to get a second medical opinion on some issues. An attorney presented several supporting evidence proving I was a competent medical doctor. The commission, however, were convinced by an assistant attorney general who had been against me for years, and I have evidence of that. I wrote to Patty Murray, the chairman of the health department, as this was her department. Why did not do anything? I decided to publish not only my grievances, but also that of hundreds of my patients, as I am running for U.S. Senate. Thank you, Mohammed. That was completely insane, and you absolutely sound qualified for public office." Phan Doan is also running for Senate. He has no party affiliation and doesn't even have any contact information. For elected experience, he put, "I have the privilege to represent South Korea and Japan in giving advice on how best run their newly democratic sovereignty with respect to their historical aspects that contributes to the overall development of their citizens today." Under professional experience, he has nothing. Under community service, he has nothing. And for his statement, he says, "The essence of democracy is we the people, meaning it is the constituents that decide who they should elect, not based on popularity, but rather on intelligence." No, Dan, it's based on popularity. That's why the candidate who receives the most votes win. We don't choose candidates based on intelligence. You aren't all taking a geography test and the person with the highest score wins. It's also really ironic that the guy calling for the most intelligent person to win is the same guy who didn't fill out most of the form. Dave Saulibo is running for Senate and prefers something called the JFK Republican Party. Under elected experience, he put, "Yes, I have no elected experience. However, I do have food for thought for middle road Democrats and voters with unhappy wallets." For community services, he put, "I was a middle road JFK, John F. Kennedy, legacy Democrat. The Democratic Party abandoned me. I became a Republican. Praise God." For his statement, he put, "Vote your unhappy wallet a senator who will sponsor tried and true policies that foster prosperity." He doesn't really say what they are, but you can learn more about them at unhappywallet.com. Dave is really attached to this unhappy wallet slogan. I can practically see him talking to his friends at the bar, and whenever the topic veers towards politics, he pulls out this slogan like a trusted friend, like it's going to be some game changer. Like people are going to hear it and go, "Oh, this guy gets it. Unhappy is exactly how I would describe my wallet." Sam Cusmir is a Romanian immigrant running for the Senate. Quote, "He was among 12 children. They have eventually immigrated in 1990 with parents and 8 of the siblings." Wait, what happened to the other 4 siblings? Where are they, Sam? Were they traded along the way? Lost? We need to know this. Did the rest of the family eat them? This is important, and depending on your answer, this could really help your chances. According to Sam, he, quote, "has been seeing what new measures government should be taking. Certain things need more of it until adequate completion." What are they, Sam? What are those measures? Sam says we need, quote, "endeavors to gain what is needed to do something to invest in capital, and the to discover a marketable service. All have been his good choices." Yes, thank you for clearing that up, Sam. We need more good things and more of them. Bill Hirt is a Republican running for Senate and was, quote, elected as president of class of 25 1957 Armstrong, Iowa high school graduates. So 65 years ago, he was elected class president out of 25 people. Bill's a character. His statement opens with, quote, this year's candidacy marks a decade of not trying to win, but to use the voters' pamphlet to attract viewers to the posts on my blog. I went to the blog, and hilariously, the URL he included has a typo because this is what came up. I'm one of probably a handful of people to actually try and visit Bill's website from this election pamphlet, and because he managed to fuck that up, I'm now looking at some Indonesian script and for some reason the words anime wallpaper. I tried the website that he was actually trying to use, and yep, that is in fact 10 years of insane ramblings about transit systems and rail programs. Shine on, Bill, you crazy diamond. Martin D. Hash has no party affiliation, but he looks like you just caught him being fabulous. His qualifications include, quote, 1,000 plus of political podcasts and 10 plus years as moderator of a political forum. He is also, quote, the world's only ever simultaneously licensed doctor, lawyer, and accountant and engineer, plus business owner and creative. He also, quote, cannot be bribed, intimidated, nor extorted, and has no vices. As far as his positions, you can check out his Kindle booklet, The Center, available on Amazon. Thor Amundson, whose picture 100% looks like a mugshot, is an independent running for the Senate. His professional experience is, quote, watching C-SPAN for 30 years, and he describes himself as, quote, a pro-democracy candidate and freedom of choice and freedom of speech. Very bold of him to declare himself as the embodiment of those things. It becomes particularly ironic because the rest of his statement consists of him listing all of the things he wants the government to either ban or seize. Oh, and he wants to, quote, make C-SPAN more entertaining. I don't know, Thor. If you've been watching it for 30 years, I'd say you must be a pretty big fan. Why change the formula? He also says, quote, rather than propose campaign reform, I'm going to implement it. So I think Thor is under the impression that becoming a senator grants him some sort of dictatorial power over the entire country. Ravin Pierre is a Democrat with, quote, equivalent 20-plus years navigating respectability politics in the workplace. Okay, firstly, what does equivalent 20-plus years mean? Is respectability politics like dog years? Secondly, respectability politics sounds like a fancy way of saying HR, in which case you are immediately disqualified from doing anything important. His professional experience all sounds similarly made up. 17 years aerospace engineer, 9 years aircraft customer service and data science. Does that mean that you do customer service for the airplanes themselves? Like if a Boeing thinks he was mishandled by a mechanic, he files a complaint with you? Oh, here we go. He is, quote, thought leader on algorithmic bias on aerospace products. Okay, thank you. That explains everything. I didn't realize you were a thought leader. So what sort of ideas do you have, Ravin? Quote, fuck QAnon, fuck Vladimir Putin. That is seriously the first sentence of his personal statement. Ravin believes in, quote, radical transparency. Quote, the police must wear body cams, so should politicians. No, Ravin, the police wear body cams so that when shit goes down, we can investigate what happens. I really don't think making all elected officials wear taxpayer-funded body cams will help, because you have no idea when shit goes down. You're just going to have footage of them going to the bathroom when actual shit is actually going down. Ravin closes by saying, quote, I am the only candidate in America offering term limits contract and body cam full-time. This is a one-time offer, Washington State. I'm in no position to run for public office in the future. Peace. Mic drop. It actually says mic drop. But, Ravin, that's not true. The other guy's been running for 10 years just to get people to visit his blog, so don't give up. Tamborine Borelli studied spiritual psychology at the University of Santa Monica, and I'd say that's enough to disqualify her from running for anything. Leon Lawson is a Republican running for the Senate, and the only thing you need to know about him is that for community service, he is a, quote, lifelong member of the Department of Based. This absolute giga-chad mad lad declared himself to be from the Department of Based. Now, I know that you're ready to absolutely smash that vote for him, but he also says, quote, I am real, it's up to you to spread it. I have no idea what that means or if he's even still trying to be funny, but goddamn is it ever. Thank you, Leon Dawson. I am ready to spread it for you. Kurtis Engle is a member of the Union Party running for Secretary of State. Under education, he put, certain people have made sure I got one. Kurtis's statement is so insane that I will now read it verbatim. Quote, 5 times on the ballot just to embarrass the politicos out of arresting me for talking to them about the transit they sabotaged. Abuse of process is a thing. In Centralia, the hardest place to leave I've ever been. I'd be there still if the police chief hadn't suggested I leave town. So, bad eye or not, I bought a car and a house and left. It's a great pleasure to live among civilized people again. Thank you, Kurtis.